Kia ora, good morning. So I got up this morning and I went to feed the birds. I feed the foxes and hedgehogs and birds and that all the same thing. It keeps the cost down. If I had the money, I'd be buying specifically hedgehog food and, specific foods for specific, like I'd be leaving out way nicer stuff than I am, but, at the moment beggars can't be choosers. So I just buy cat food and cat biscuits, and I make sure that I put the non-fish stuff out for the hedgehogs and the meat stuff out for the birds, because I have a lot of crows and pigeons and all of that. So this morning I was taking out my usual bowl of mushed up cat food and cat biscuits, and I threw it out, and I'm telling you now, only Indigenous people are going to understand this. This is only going to be an Indigenous person thing, a black blood thing. When the food landed, Totem Pigeon got all excited and said as clear as a bell, and I've been thinking, what the hell was that all about? But then I remembered my special delivery service. Help is on its way. Totem Pigeon said, and if there's video cameras around, when you see me throw the food out, you'll see me kind of look up at the sky as if to go, wait, what? Because I sort of do a quick look up. Totem Pigeon said, it sounds like something so out of Lord of the Rings it's not even funny. As you begin to spread your wings, their tower begins to fall. As you start to fly away, their tower starts to fall. And I'm like, is this special delivery service getting me out of here or something? Like, what the hell's going on? So I have to record these things, and I'm doing it because I'm trying to wake up Indigenous people to remind them who they are. All these people with ancient connections to Papatūānuku, Te Whiti, Gaia, whatever you want to call her, Mother Earth, Planet Earth, whatever. I'm trying to wake them up and remind them who we are and how we used to live. We need to go back to living how our ancestors lived, because it gives us power, it gives us strength, and it helps us survive. When the animals and that are giving you a heads up for things that are coming, it keeps you alive, it keeps you alert, it keeps you aware, and it keeps you alive. This is how we used to survive hunting bloody mammoths and all of that, because we would be alerted by the behaviour and the calls of the animals and that to let us know what was around and what we needed to be careful of. It was why we were so brilliant with our instincts and our intuition being married like a husband and wife, because we paid attention to what the animals were saying when we were in the jungles and the bushes and the desert. We knew what the wind was saying, so we knew where trouble was coming and from what area and stuff. So now I'm being told, like, I'm flying away, I'm being flown out of here, like I'm getting ready to fly, and it just reminds me of the ending to Message in a Bottle that I used to call The Harvest. After the Indigenous girl on the chair, when she realises she's starting to run out of air, because she's getting too big for the bottle, and Tardovsky is, he's got the pipes leading to the bottle, trying to feed her enough oxygen to keep her alive, because he's feeding off her, and he's writing down and absorbing everything that she's putting out there in her magic. She's sitting in her bottle, and she's doing all these things with her hand, and she's like pulling all these golden threads and all this gold dust, and she's turning it into visual objects out of thin air that Tardovsky is paying people to witness, and they're coming from far and wide to watch this little Indigenous freak in a bottle pull this magic out of nowhere. And he pays them, and then when she realises that she's running out of air and it's getting harder to breathe, and if she doesn't sing loud, he's going to kill her. she starts singing as loud as can be, so loud that it smashes the bottle. And when the bottle smashes, she finally stands up and takes a deep breath. And as she stands up, she reveals that she's hiding children under her grass skirt. Because remember, she's Māori, so she's going to dress like an Indigenous Māori girl. She's going to have a grass skirt. She's going to have a moko, a tattoo on her chin. She's going to have her feathers in her hair. You know, she's going to have her markings all over her body. And all of that. And so when she stands up to take that breath of fresh air, they realise she's been protecting children this whole time, and she hasn't been performing for Tardovsky. She's been performing for the children to take their mind off the fact that she's the one that she's been abused. And then when people realise that Tardovsky has been abusing her and these children, they turn on Tardovsky and they drag him by his feet and drag him to a judge who brings the gavel down, finds him guilty, and then he gets confined to a teeny tiny little wooden cell on a mound of on a mound of dirt surrounded by lava, because he's been sent to the depths of hell, to the core of the earth. So as he's been dragged off to the core of the earth and to the depths of hell, she grows her wings. Her wings, because she's got the room to expand, her wings come out. And she has these beautiful feathery wings. She puts her kids on her back and she flies off and takes her throne at the top of this mountain surrounded by alpine forest. And she sits on her little tree stump carved of from an old tree, and it's like she becomes the grandmother tree. She sits down on the throne where the grandmother tree was, because it's metaphoric to do with like the deforestation and how my nemesis, my enemies, and that tried to cut me off through my bloodline, tried to stop me from having my baby, tried to stop me from being a mum to my boys. You know, it was to do with, they tried to affect my bloodline. They tried to go after my ancestry. So she sits down on the tree stump that becomes her throne and becomes the tree. And she takes over. She becomes the new generation of her ancestors' bloodline, with her children by her side. And then the bears and the eagles and the squirrels and the raccoons and wolves and, you know, the deer and all of that, they all come out of the forest and surround her, and they place her crown upon her head. And they all bow to her because they know that now she's there. The forest is going to be saved. They're going to be saved because she's now the Earth Queen. She has taken her place as the Queen of Elements, Queen of the Elements. And they place a crown upon her head that's made of like moss and leaves and twigs and nuts and shells and rocks and, you know, all things made up of the elements. And so by Totem Pigeon saying that, and because pigeons, if you don't know, even male ones, are the totem of Mother Nature, Mother Nurture, mothering, mother. Pigeons make fantastic mothers, even the dads. And they always know where to go. Their sense of direction and that is impeccable. They can be relied on for everything. They survive everything that's thrown at them. They're really strong, hearty animals when it comes to fighting to survive. So I'm not surprised that it's pigeon. Also, because I leave food out for them, the birds leave me offerings every now and then of feathers, which she is wearing in her hair, and I keep them by my altar when I do my prayers and all of that. And I, you know, because, you know, if you're Indigenous, feathers are important to us. Birds are important to us because they're either the voice of God or they're God in bird form. So I just found that message really, really interesting, because it's like everything that I wrote, Lucian's Dragon, the rise of the Dragon Queen, message in a bottle, with a little help from my friends and all of that. Everything's starting to happen in real life. It's all starting to weave and ground itself in reality. And so now I just find that message really interesting because of that special delivery service one. Special delivery service, help is on its way. Special delivery service, what's it going to be today? That's from Postman Pat, because my boys loved it. My eldest absolutely loves stop motion and claymation and all that. He's the reason why a lot of my movies are going to be puppets or stop motion, clay motion, that sort of thing, because he loved that sort of stuff. Timmy Time, Postman Pat, all of it. So yeah, but they loved, especially my youngest loved special delivery service and that. So yeah, very interesting. So I had to document it because something or someone is coming. Someone's coming to my door, and I think I'm out of here. And then I think I mean, it would make sense with if someone turns up here with my boys and I'm out of here, that means my ex has been taken down. I'll keep you posted. Wake up, Indigenous people. Papatūānuku, Te Whiti, Gaia, White Buffalo Calf Woman. This is the message. We've got to bring the world together for the sake of peace and harmony, and we've got to save the planet. We've got to save Papatūānuku, and it starts by listening to her again, because we've been so consumed by addictions and abuse and financial struggles and being kidnapped and experimented on and trafficked and forgotten about and silenced and shut down and locked up and medicated and forced into the ground. We've been so busy trying to survive, we forgot the planet has been telling us how to live so we can survive. So I'm here to put these messages out to wake everyone up. And Indigenous doesn't just mean brown skin. You got to remember the Irish are Indigenous. Iceland, Greenland, they're Indigenous people all over the world. It's got nothing to do with the colour of your skin. Indigenous just means the first footers, the first ones there, the first ones. So yeah, let's see what happens, eh? Totem Pigeon. Mwah!